Hey world, it's been with it coming back with a video going live. I had to go live on this one because my partner just sent me some information and I was just gonna drop a video, but I wanted to go live with this and because I wanted to see if anybody that's gonna be joining me in the garden can talk about this. And it's if you look at the title is California's sex education has an agenda. Now, I don't know if you heard, but California and some of the districts out there, the school board had just passed a new sex education curriculum. Now, being here in Texas, you know, we, um, we have health. We have health education here. Look out, Neff. Um, you know, and in that health curriculum, there is some, uh, you know, material that they use to teach sex education. I mean, even when I was in school back in the 80s, health was sex education. But it was done in high school. I mean, it was a high school credit. Even now in Texas, in my district, health, which actually is be taught in middle school, but it's high school credit. Okay. Now, in California, they just passed a law, and I just posted something. And it actually the it was an article from the Washington Post, and it kind of gives you some bullets on the grades and what each grade level will be responsible to learn. Well, that's ridiculous. Okay. I mean, let me just go through it real quickly, guys. Right here it says grades kindergarten through third grade will learn gender identity. Hmm. Grades 4 through 6 will learn sexual feelings, including masturbation. Okay. Grades 7 through 8 is consent and sexual abuse, which I mean, even in school, that's something that counselors, talk to students about, and that's, normally if the kid discloses something like that. And like I said, I used to be a social worker with CPS, and that's information that's normally disclosed to professionals that could help the kid. The teacher's job is to refer the kid or refer the student to the counselor. Now in California, you guys are going to be having that be something they talk about in class. Okay. And then, of course, in high school, grades 9 through 12 is contraception and healthy sexual relationships, including advice from LGBTQ students. Hmm. What's the agenda? And why aren't parents in California? Why aren't parents in California? Why do they not have enough power to, make sure this law or make sure this doesn't go into play? Well, let's listen to this article I found.
Despite months of large protests, the state board unanimously approved new guidelines for elementary school students that would allow individual school districts to decide whether or not kindergartners learn about sexual orientation, gender fluidity, and more. So tonight we are clearing up exactly what will be discussed and what changes the board has already made to the framework to meet parent concerns.
The information our state board seems to want to give our third and fourth graders is too graphic to be shown on the nightly news.
Okay, so this guy here you just heard, that's a senator, and he's protesting. He's against this new sex education framework because even he said it's too graphic for the nightly news. And what he meant by that was, I guess in order to compromise, they actually took out 5 books that they were going to be using as material, and these books actually had graphic nude students in the books. That's child pornography. So why is that in school? And why would kindergartners need to know about transgender identity. Kindergartners? Really? And having to be able to have that conversation. Why are kindergartners having this conversation? And what parents would agree with this? Okay, and so now in California, they have the parents and the LGBTQ community members respond. Now, like I say, everyone has the right to, do what they want to do. Their own sexual orientation is their own business. What I'm tripping on is, why is it being in school? Okay, why is it in school? All right, let's listen to some more.
And why, my friends? Why are we robbing our children of their youth?
The new health and sex education framework tells teachers that students as young as kindergarten can identify as transgender and offers tips on how to talk about different identities.
Hold up. You offering kindergartners tips on how to talk about gender identity? Nah, that's crazy. Wow. Taken into custody, huh? Kid that was taken into custody because the parents wouldn't let him dress in drag. It's an agenda. And like I say, why is it that part of the sex education framework included, the gender identity crisis? I mean, what is that about? I mean, they already have sex education in schools. And so what they basically telling you as parents is that you can raise your kids, and telling you as parents that you're not responsible enough to raise your kids. All right? And, you can't just go by that. King Sappy, look out there. I hear you. I see you. And so the more freedoms that you think you have as a parent, these type of situations pretty much put in perspective that you don't have as much freedom as you think. Because when some grown-ups can go sit at a board table and decide that, you know what, kindergartners need to learn how to learn about transgender identity crisis and how to actually have that conversation. Why do kindergartners have to have that conversation? And what LGBTQ community member think that's cool? See, I don't understand it. Okay, let's keep going.
While some parents support the change, others strongly disagree, calling the guidelines inappropriate for classroom discussion. Right.
So if parents disagree, then what's the discussion? I mean, if parents say, no, I don't want my kids exposed to that. And see, that's what I'm saying. We as individuals have more power than we give ourselves credit. Board members shouldn't be deciding what us as parents are supposed to be teaching our children. Okay? And it's a reason why they want to teach our kids about this, but at the same time, congressmen and senators, you guys don't want to rein in all the pornography and child pornography and stuff that's accessible to our kids online, on the phones, but you're talking about adding more sex education into schools? Come on, man. I don't understand that. I understand it, and it's sick. That's why you don't see as many kids on milk cartons no more. They're not loving the kids. They putting us in situations where kids feel that they need to go to school and learn this kind of stuff. When they don't, they have parents for that. Kids shouldn't be forced to learn something that, and we all know as kids, that's a private situation. I mean, these kids haven't even been through puberty. Their body's not even changed. They're kids, they're babies. And you're telling them they need to learn about, identifying kids that are transgender. Parents, you do what you want to do, but, as parents that, don't want this kind of stuff, don't want this kind of curriculum exposed to their children, I think we should be more proactive. Okay? I'm looking at the board members and the parents that are responding. It's like, about 25 parents there? That's it? Okay? This is a school district. School districts that this is going to be coming into play with. No doubt. I mean, homeschooling is a great thing, because this is the stuff that you're exposing your kids to. You dig? Let's go ahead on. Let me keep going because I wanted to get into this again.
Children's and adults' private areas that would be shown to kids starting in
Hold up,
close-up
check this out. Listen to this.
argued that a handful of the proposed books were too graphic, using close-up illustrations of children's and adults' private areas that would be shown to kids starting in 3rd grade. Other books included topics such as gender fluidity, body changes, and guidelines to sexuality. In light of the pushback, the Board of Education decided to remove 5 of the proposed books and to remove the topic of masturbation from the framework.
Excuse me. However,
other books covering topics such as reproduction and LGBTQ relationships will remain a part of the framework.
okay, so you agreed to take out the part about masturbation to 3rd graders, which okay, we'll take that out, but we're gonna leave in the stuff about the LGBTQ stuff. We'll leave that in. Come on, man. This is sick. Okay, and this is and we have parents, actually members of the LGBTQ community with their rainbows, actually walking out protesting, not protesting against it, but saying that it's, there shouldn't be protests. Huh? That's interesting.
Moms like Amanda Patrick of Bakersfield say if local public school districts adopt the framework, it may be overstepping their boundary.
Everybody.
Okay, now one parent said if they pass this framework, the school board and district may be overstepping their boundaries. What you mean maybe? No, like I say, as parents, you're losing more and more power to your kids. Like I said, and they're doing this in California now. What state is next? Okay, and so who's voting on this, first of all? And where are the votes to say, you know what, we got the votes to pass this? But like I say, even they said with the protest from parents, okay, we'll take out 5 books that show adolescents and grown-ups body parts. We'll take that 5 books out, but we're not going to take out the LGBTQ stuff, and we'll take out the masturbation. But we're going to keep in the stuff about sexual relations and sexual abuse. Come on, man, that's it. But let's hear from someone that's a part of the LGBTQ community and see what they got to say about it. Now, remember, yes, Kel, I hear you. I know California is liberal, but that's only used as a guise. Oh, they just liberal out there. No, that's an agenda. No, it ain't about being liberal. It's about, okay, let's do it out in California first, and then we'll push it to all other places. See, that liberal stereotype is basically something that's put out there for people can get desensitized to the type of behaviors and things that are going on out there. You know how they are. They're just liberal out there. No, I mean, there are people out there, and there's a lot of people out there that object to that stuff. It's the people that's in power that's doing it. And the world is changing. But is the world changing? Or is there a group of people, all right? Because remember, only 5 or 6 corporations own all the media outlets. And so everything that you see on the television, everything that's presented to us is done for a purpose, all right? And remember, everyone in the world ain't watching this crap. No. And everyone in the world have a lot more morals than what's going on over here. It's just that they want to give that perception that, oh man, everybody's doing this. No, it's not. Yeah, they use California as the initiation grounds. You remember when marijuana got legal in California first, okay? And then they push it east. That's how they do, okay? Man, let's get into what LGBTQ community member says. See if he agree or disagree. Listen.
Including everybody in.
Let me back up a little bit.
Let
me back up a little bit, Tom.
So I like that it's including everybody in the sex talk, but I think kindergarten is way too young.
Each district.
You see what I'm saying? He said, I like that it's including everybody in the sex talk. but kindergarten is just a little too young. Let's listen to it again.
So I like that it's including everybody in the sex talk, but I think kindergarten is way too young.
Each district in Kern County will now have to decide whether or not to implement the new framework. Parents can opt their student out of the specific lesson plans they don't agree with, and school districts are required to notify parents before these lessons take place.
See, okay. So they're gonna notify the parents. This is indicative of back in 2002 when Texas and the federal government passed the No Child Left Behind law when George Bush, when he was No Child Left Behind. But see, I was teaching back then as well. And what the No Child Left Behind did was left a lot of children behind. And what it did, it actually labeled kids starting as young as third grade in special education. And the discrepancy was so bad that, when you look at a classroom, they're in special education and they're in resource classes, getting the extra help they needed. Then all of a sudden they said, no. We're going to make sure no child left behind and everybody's going to be inclusive. We're going to put all the general education kids in all the special education kids, that is, in regular general education classes. We know they need extra help, but we're going to give them extra accommodations, in class around all the other general education kids where they're feeling totally out of place because they're not getting the extra help they need. And so now the behavior problems build up because, these kids are in class and not being helped. Excuse me. Okay? And so in actuality, the No Child Left Behind law really left a lot of children behind. And if you do the numbers, okay, of Afro-melanated children in labor and resource special education or 504s, it's staggering. It's staggering. Okay, and so when you see, states passing laws like this, they start with our kids first. Okay, and so if you have, and I'm what I can't understand is why is it, the LGBTQ community, why is that the main focus of the whole sex education framework? Why is that? Why is it important that kindergartners who why do they need to learn about transgenders? Kindergartners? And third graders, that's when they're basically learning how to, they start taking those state tests. That's going to be on the state test now, Callie? Wow. It's ridiculous. Okay? And so, and like I said, Kelly, you say, Colorado's next, huh? Denver? Yeah, probably. Like I said, it's going to move east. It's going to move east, okay? And like I said, before I get up out of here, fam, I wanted to address a situation that happened here in Houston last week. Malia Davis, she's a 5-year-old that was abducted, allegedly, by 2 guys that her stepfather said abducted her. This hurt my heart tremendously because one baby girl was only, she was 5 years old and she'd had brain surgeries. And her stepfather, who was allegedly, she was in his custody, in his possession when it happened. And he said something happened to her. And this happened last week, and it's Saturday here in H-Town, and she still hasn't been found. They did an interview with her mom. And like I say, after working with CPS and being a social worker, watching her reaction to her daughter's abduction, that wasn't normal. I didn't see any tears, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So I just want to just say my heart goes out to Malia Davis, and hopefully that, the people who did this, who we know who it is. Come on, man. You get hit in the head, you're in and out of consciousness for 24 hours, but your 1-year-old son is there with you. And in this age of technology, where were the cameras? I mean, there's cameras everywhere. And his car just, somebody, two guys in a blue truck, really? No one seen nothing. Okay? So I just want to say that my heart goes out to Malia, and that's just an unfortunate situation. Yeah. That's an unfortunate situation. Mother, like I said, the mom wasn't crying. I mean, it just irks me, you know? That really hurt my heart. Uh, and for the cops for the cops to let him go so quickly on just his story alone, my spider senses was rising. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. You got a knot on your head. You say you're in and out of consciousness. First of all, how you know you're in and out of consciousness? Your 5-year-old stepdaughter is abducted. You don't know what happened to her. Your 1-year-old is right there. You're in and out of consciousness for 24 hours, and you got hit on the head. No. And then the cops let you go, and then now you're missing. No, someone mentioned something about sacrifice. I just don't like to give these people that much credit. Like I say, I talk about narcissism, and with narcissists, that's what I seen when the mother was interviewed, because I didn't see any tears. I seen fake emotion, and someone whose daughter was just abducted. I just, and to wait 2 or 3 days before you even say anything, that just irked me. But I digress. And so, with that story, and with this story here with California and these new sex education laws or sex education framework for schools, who's to say that's not going to, entice more pedophiles, okay, to be around our kids? I mean, we know that they don't do anything about Catholic priests. I mean, my heart goes out to many of the thousands of young men and women who had to endure that under the guise of Christianity. And so what they basically doing is desensitizing America to the fact that, kids will be able to learn about these things, and when bad things happen to them, well, they already know about it. That's sick, man. I mean, we just had an organization what's called NAMBLA, North American Man Boy Love Association, and no one was protesting that. You can't say anything about LGBTQ because then you label you're being discriminatory or something like that. I don't know, because to me, I don't even understand it. Why that's even an issue. I mean, everybody should have their own discretion on what they do. I'm never going to ask anybody what their sexual orientation is. And I think that's a private matter that parents should have with their children. And if not, we got separation of church and state. You can't go to school telling kids what to learn about, or who to preach to, or what God to worship. Why are you telling kids what gender or identity, or why is that even a topic of discussion in school? So parents, you have more power than you think, but we just act like we don't. Yeah. It's so sad, man. Like I say, where are all the children on the milk cartons? And then when we get these Amber Alerts, what about the results? Master Gamer YT11, what's up? I see you. Thanks for joining me, young man. Oh, man, this is crazy. But another topic I wanted to hit. Oh, what's up, Alex? What's up? I hear you. Okay. I see you. Keeping them grades up. Okay. No doubt. Yeah, family, I got a lot of animosity toward that. That's crazy, especially when you're educated. This is kind of stuff that's going on, and then you're hearing all the time about these teachers being inappropriate with students, having sexual relationships with students. Well, now what we're doing now is just going to teach kids what to do before the teachers rape them. What's that about? Come on, man. I disagree, and I'm hoping that those that are watching this live and those that will watch it afterward, leave the comments and make sure you like and share and give me your opinion. And like I say, I love everybody, but women and children are the most vulnerable in our society, and to have groups like MGTOW have the platform on YouTube to say all these horrible things about women and get away with it, but then you got Louis Farrakhan and Alex Jones get kicked off Instagram and Facebook because of the things that they say. It don't make sense. We can talk. We can say all these horrible things and all these terrible videos about women and children, but then, when you want to say what's on your mind, you get kicked off. Okay, it's a community of child molesters. Listen, anytime you live in a society where you have registered sex offenders, these cats can get out of jail and live near schools. Ex-preachers or whatever can rape kids and be registered. As long as they register, they cool. I don't understand it, man. It's backwards to me. Women can get physically and domestically assaulted, right? And then have to go to a shelter for protection. And then it's not even protection, because even when they give them a restraining order, the cats still go do bad things to them. It's backwards. You dig? It's backwards. No doubt, nephew, where the so-called churches at, no doubt, because even in the churches, you dig? Our children. Okay? But then they want to, distract you with stories like a new HIV prevention drug is coming out in 2020. They releasing a new HIV prevention drug. What? I thought that to me is synonymous with a cure for HIV. If it's a HIV prevention drug, then what is it, like a birth control pill or something? But you're gonna take that take it every time you have sex, and it'll prevent you from HIV? What you talking about? Okay, and I'm gonna do some more research on that. It's from a pharmaceutical company called Gilead, Gilead. Okay. More diversion. What else is there? Global helium shortage. That's another way to kill jobs. If you know anything about helium, it's liquefied air underground that they extract. Just like they extract it from the liquefied air, and extract helium, nitrogen, and oxygen. They put them in these canisters, right? And of course, they sell it to a lot of different helium needed places, like Party City, places that blow up balloons, places that need air balloons and stuff like that. Well, guess what? They just said there's a shortage of helium. There's a global helium shortage. Interesting. All lies, but interesting. Okay, but then they'll try to sneak this California sex education story. Just throw that out there real quick, and don't think nobody's gonna find out about it. It's crazy, because see, by the time you find out about it, they'll be implementing it in your school. You dig? So, family, I just want to come back with a little information. When I go live, family, it's normally just spontaneous. So I go in that garden, bring out some beans for thought, and hope you can resonate with them. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let me see what it look like. Yeah, Skid Row in LA. Wow. That is terrible. Okay. And like I say, here in H-Town, we had some flooding here on Thursday. Some major flooding here. They closed all the school districts in the Houston area. I think like a 20, 30 mile radius. All the school districts were closed out here in H-Town. And it's been on the news, but what they never show on the news is all those families that was caught out there in the storms or lost their homes. What happened to them? They get all the drug addicts $400 a month. What? Well, I mean, when you're the biggest drug dealers in the world, you can do that. You did? Because you got to keep them high off your supply. Okay, it's coming from next door. I mean, that's so funny. And thank you for mentioning that, Skid Row. That's so funny Skid Row's in California, y'all. That's so funny how we have this drug epidemic, right? And and they say they're gonna be able, yeah. So they say that we need to rehab, the people that's on drugs, but you're giving them checks to do drugs, right? Because, like I say, when you're the biggest drug dealers in the world, those that can't work, don't worry about it. We're gonna provide that for you because, it ain't the fact that the people that's here on drugs can't afford the drugs because they gonna make sure the drugs get to them. It's keeping them desensitized to what's really going on in reality. See, the more you have people drugged up, the more you have people liquored up, the more you have people social media up, they're not gonna pay attention to all these stuff that's being passed. You did? Yeah. There's no help in sight when it comes to that, okay? The only help is to give them more drugs. See, you put them on street drugs first, right? And then you flip them to put them on pharmaceutical drugs. And that way you have the walking dead. I mean, you continue to have patients over and over again. Because, see, don't get it twisted, family. They want a nation of non-thinkers. All right? They don't want you to have your own thoughts. Even think about Facebook right now. They kicked off Alex Jones and Farrakhan. And people may say, well, that's violating their First Amendment rights. No, it's not. Facebook is a private company. They can do what they want. Now, if he was running for, office, or if it's a government situation, hey, then what they're saying is inappropriate. But on a social media platform, whoever owns that platform can do what they want. They can take off who they want. And so you could be next. I could be next. But guess what? I always said, as individuals, we don't have any power. But as numbers, we do. So instead of us allowing Farrakhan and Alex Jones to get kicked off Instagram and Facebook and say, well, at least it wasn't me, and man, Facebook wrong for that. What about their First Amendment rights? Their First Amendment rights didn't get violated because Facebook and Instagram is a private entity, allegedly. You did? And so they can have on there who they want to have on there. The point is, we should decide who should be on there, who should not be on there. You kick off Farrakhan and Alex Jones, but you keep on the child molesters, and you keep on these people posting videos about when they killing women and children and animals and all the racist ideologies. Okay? But if you say something anti-Semitic, you're gone. I don't understand that there. Okay, so let's not get it twisted. Understanding what freedom of speech is not being able to say whatever you want to say. You can say whatever you want to say. But if a person owns a certain, location, if it's privately owned, you can say what you want to say. But they have the right to kick you out. That's Facebook. But guess what? If all the other patrons in the place say, hey, you kick him out for talking, and all of them get up and walk out, then that guy has to be like, oh, okay. Okay, you can speak your mind as long as you just don't cause any violence. Okay? So the notion that Farrakhan get kicked off because he said Jews were termites or ants, why is that anti-Semitic? Because if Jews or Caucasian call black people ain't but monkeys, that don't affect me because I know we're not monkeys. And so if you can have that type of racist ideology on Facebook talking about black people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Asians, then all of the people should be off, not just the ones that are talking anti-Semitic. Because honestly, guys, I really don't know what anti-Semitic is. I know it can get you in big trouble if you say stuff about it, but it really always blew me away about that. You did? And so, I don't understand why we don't understand that we let these people get away with so much, when they dictate the job. They dictate how much we pay for stuff, and they dictate when we work, and they dictate, when you sleep, because we let them. Okay? I mean, you got 50,000 employees at a job. Those 50,000 employees should be able to dictate production and dictate, what goes on as far as, salaries, as far as people being treated a certain way. That's how that should go. But corporations, and you live on this facade that you have no power, and we have a lot of power with numbers. Okay. All right. Well, family, I just want to come with a little knowledge. The whole theme tonight was that, California passing a new sex education curriculum where kindergartners can actually learn about transgenders and third graders can learn about masturbation and sixth graders can learn about sex abuse. I think that's stuff that parents should be doing and not the school. So make sure we keep our power, family. Thank you for watching. In the meantime, between time, may the Most High Inside you bring you joy and being with